Razer Phone release date, news, and rumors. It looks like a new company is about to enter the smartphone arena, as gaming peripheral brand Razer is set to announce its first handset on November 1st. Yet despite the close launch, the name of the phone, which for now we'll call the Razer Phone, still hasn't leaked, and we've only so far seen one possible picture of it. The picture we talk of isn't the one above, that's Razer's power bank charger, but you'll be able to see it further down the page. The new image, plus a previous specs leak, gives us a reasonable idea of what we may be able to expect from the gaming-focused Razer Phone in many ways, and you'll find all those details below. Razer Phone release date and price. The Razer Phone is set to be announced on November 1st, as Razer has teased the launch on its website and sent out invites for an event taking place in London. How soon after the announcement you'll be able to buy the Razer Phone, or how much it will cost, also remain a mystery for now. However, we'd expect the Razer Phone price to be high, as leaked specs suggested will be a flagship handset, so we'd imagine you'll have to pay upwards of $700, £600, or $1,000. Razer Phone design and screen. Hottest leaks, a blocky design. A 5.7-inch QHD screen. So far we've only seen one leaked image of the Razer Phone and it doesn't show the full handset. The shot, apparently obtained by an unnamed insider and shared by TechByte, shows just half of the back of the phone, but we can make out some details from that. It has a blocky, angular design, very similar to the NextBit Robin, which is no surprise, since Razer has purchased NextBit. It's shown in black here, and while it may come in other colors, it's possible that black will be the only option, as Razer is fond of that color. Oddly though, there's no sign of the green that Razer also tends to use on its products. The rear is plain other than a large white Razer logo. It's hard to tell what the Razer Phone is made out of, but given the likely high-end specs we'd expect a metal or glass case rather than a plastic one. Other visible details include a dual lens camera and two small buttons on the left edge, likely to control the volume. There are no images of the screen, but a GFX bench listing suggests it will have a 5.7-inch 1440 x 2561. That's a conventional QHD resolution, suggesting the Razer Phone will probably have a 16:9 aspect ratio, rather than opting for a more widescreen design like the Samsung Galaxy S8 and some other recent handsets. We've only seen one image of the phone, so it could well be wrong, but it looks convincing, given the NextBit Robin-like design. The screen specs are also believable if this is to be a flagship phone. Razer Phone camera and battery. Hottest leaks, a dual-lens 12MP camera. The one benchmark we've seen for the Razer Phone lists a 12MP rear camera, though there's no mention of a dual-lens one, even though the picture we've seen seems to have a dual-lens camera. The benchmark also lists a 4K video camera and an 8MP front-facing camera, though other than HDR and a flash on the rear camera there's no word on what capabilities and modes these cameras will have. As for the battery, that remains unknown for now, but we'd expect to see a reasonably large one if the Razer Phone is to be positioned at gamers, which is likely given the company's heritage. A dual-lens 12MP rear camera and an 8MP front-facing one are fairly standard flagship specs, so they're believable. Razer Phone OS and power. Hottest leaks, 7.5 GB of RAM for gaming power. A Snapdragon 835 chipset. Advertisement. We're again reliant on the one benchmark we've seen here, but that suggests the Razer Phone will have a Snapdragon 835 chipset and an Adreno 540 graphics chip, which would make it a match for the likes of the LG V30 and the US version of the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Where it seemingly doesn't match those phones is RAM, as the Razer Phone supposedly has 7.5 GB of the stuff, which is more than almost any other smartphone, though there is a version of the OnePlus 5 with 8 GB. That might sound like overkill, but it's actually believable, since the Razer Phone will likely be designed for high-end mobile gaming, which needs all the power it can get. We can't be certain of that, but since Razer is primarily a gaming peripheral company, it's very likely, especially as Razer's CEO has previously mentioned creating a mobile device specifically geared toward gamers, and since the teaser page on Razer's site includes watch, listen, play in the URL. The operating system meanwhile is very likely to be Android, and indeed the benchmark we've seen lists Android 7.1.1. Since Android Aurea is out, we'd expect that to be on the phone, so this could be dated or inaccurate information, which calls all the other specs into question too, but it's all we've got to go on for now. Whichever version of Android it lands with, it's likely to be skinned by Razer, since the benchmark also mentions Android Razer Edition. The specs we've seen are believable given the likely focus on gaming, but we'd take them with a pinch of salt since they only come from one source. Razer Phone other features. Hottest leaks, 64 GB of storage. Cloud gaming. The only other spec we've seen listed for the Razer Phone, again in that benchmark, is 64 GB of storage, but there are some possible features we can guess at. For one thing, given that Razer owns Nextbit, it would make sense for the company to use one of the most interesting ideas found in the Nextbit Robin, namely the ability to offload files and even apps to the cloud, so that less internal storage is used. We've theorized before that Razer may even take it a step further and allow you to stream games from the cloud, which as well as freeing up space would potentially allow the Razer Phone to run more demanding games than many handsets, since much of the horsepower could also be provided by the cloud. Advertisement. Given the gaming focus, Razer may also look at providing proper gaming controls, rather than just a touch screen. If it does, these could be additional hardware buttons, but would more likely take the form of a detachable controller. Or perhaps you'd even be able to pair the Razer Phone with Razer's gaming keyboards, giving you near endless hardware buttons. Hardware buttons and cloud gaming are simply speculation for now, but it would make sense for Razer to leverage the cloud to some extent, given that it's gone to the trouble of acquiring a company with experience in that area.